This month, we are lowering the barrier to goal setting because I've talked to a few people who said, you know, I do want to set goals, but I don't know. It's halfway through January. I don't have anything, like never mind. And so what we're doing is we're doing 8 mini episodes this month. Each of them just one little idea that might spark something for you, that might be something you want to take and make it your goal. Or you know somebody and you're like, I'm going to send this to them because this is something they would like. And so take some, leave the rest, and they're just short, easy episodes to adopt for yourself or to send it to a friend.
So I'd like to talk about this phrase, just good enough. Because you remember how when you and I were doing our values and you asked me to find my anti-word?
Yeah.
And it was perfectionism.
You got real worked up on that.
Yeah.
one.
I recently was listening to a podcast where they were really talking about people who struggle with looking for the perfect thing versus good enough.
Yeah.
But the whole thing was about how that word really just pisses a lot of people off. Like good enough or being content has a bad connotation. Like it sounds like you're settling, that you're not choosing the very best thing. And I just wanted to have a conversation a little bit around it because it fascinated with me around the misuse of good enough.
Ashley just has this joke. She's going to start something called the Dream Small Conference.
Wait, the dream what?
The Dream Small Conference. And we just, I don't know, love
Because,
the
like,
idea of it.
Yeah, because like dream big is exhausting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking, I'll actually tell you a story. I remember when I first met Adam, who I'm married to, and he was single and never been married, 38 years old. And I was 4 kids, single mom, right? And I remember we were just sharing, and I said something about how I long for contentment.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, what?
Almost like that is a sin.
We're
We're supposed to be striving for more.
Yeah. And he was like, I don't understand how contentment could be a good thing. We had this whole conversation around it. Now, a couple of years married in, he's like, gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah.
That like there's this sense of contentment. He's like, and so there was this one podcast I was listening to where there was this study, and basically he was talking about like maximizers versus satisficers, and it was like a fake word. It was a fake word, but he's like, these maximizers almost never stop, so they actually never rest. There's nothing ever good enough. There's never, so what they find is there's less joy, depression, and less optimism.
Yeah.
Whereas people who decide something is good enough, that there is more joy, optimism, and less depression. So even if you then people are like, well, how do you discover if there's more things? And they're like, well, if you choose this cereal and you love this cereal, and by some chance somebody comes over and says, hey, have you ever tried this cereal? And you're like, hey, I'll try it randomly. And you're like, I love this. But see, it was like by chance versus like, I must try every cereal. Do you know what I mean? And then you're like exhausting your life and not loving your life and being, I just think that there is such a balance between the two.
Yeah.
And yet there's such a bad rap for this.
I think you're
good
right.
enough.
And I'm learning lately to not judge others for which zone they're in.
Very true.
Because I've had seasons where I am the maximizer type. I'm there a lot. But I've now, like this season I'm currently in, and I'm more of a enough is good enough thing.
Yeah.
And the tendency I have is to judge the people in the other place.
It's so true.
You need to be where I'm at.
It's so true.
And to remember, maybe they're in the season I used to be in versus it's always got to be one right way.
Yeah.
Because there are times where striving for more is great. And there are times when that's just going to kill you.
And by the way, isn't that interesting? Like, you know me, I love to learn more, strive for more, and try new things. That has nothing to do with the good enough mentality, the contentment. That's like a learning thing. It's very different to me than this like discontentment with always needing more and, being unhappy with where I'm at. If I get more things or life turns that way, that is awesome. But I think that there's just a lot of unhappy people out there sometimes because we're just trying to find the perfect thing instead of being okay with what we have. But not judging in each camp is So because it's their journey, right?
Yeah.
We've been having these mini conversations where we're hoping just some spark of thought there. So maybe this is one that stands out to you. Maybe thinking about good enough isn't necessarily something that has a bad rap.
So that's it for this mini episode. And like we said, the point of these mini episodes this month is just to spark a little something. So feel free. If one little piece sparked for you, take that and just forget the rest. That's fine. But we want you to take something out of this, or if you know a friend who needs to hear this episode, then send it along to them.